Hi everyone, I'm Kanika Saxena from kanikasaxena.com. Hope you're all doing well. In this week's video, I will be talking about some difficulties that a freelancer faces, especially a freelance content writer. So, because I'm a freelance content writer, I can talk about freelance content writing. But there are certain problems that are common for all freelancers. So, this video is to guide people who are thinking of, starting their careers as freelancers. Most people talk about the glories, the success they've had, but there are very few videos that talk about the difficulties that you have to face, what you have to overcome to reach that stage of success. So, if you like the content shared on my channel, do subscribe to my channel, Food for Thought with Kanika Saxena. So, let's talk about the difficulties a freelance content writer faces. Okay, the first thing that happens is as a freelancer, you need clients, and getting a client is not easy. So, you would have heard of all these platforms like Upwork, Fiverr, where you can get projects. Yes, that's right. These platforms do give projects, but to established writers. As a fresher, you will find it very difficult to get a client on these platforms. You need to have some kind of a rating. You need to have some kind of, some customer testimonials or somebody recommending you in a way so that other clients will hire you or think of you. And that is very difficult because it's hard to get a project without a client feedback or a rating. So how do you get that rating? So you're caught in a vicious circle, and it becomes extremely difficult to find a client initially when you start as a freelancer. And then for me, what happened was, fortunately, the company where I worked, they gave me work as a freelancer, and so that was a steady kind of project and income. But along with that, I also had some friends who had their own startups, so I connected with them and started doing some writing for them. So networking is very important. I mean, there is a lot of requirement for content, and if you have a network of people who are either in the business or who know others who are in the business who need writers, it is comparatively easier, or that's one way of getting clients. Now, why I'm talking about this is because on LinkedIn, etc., I have seen many success stories of content writers, but that has come after a certain stage, and many people get inspired by these stories and leave their steady jobs to start working as freelancers. And the biggest hurdle in freelancing is getting clients. And I would suggest that do not, change your career. Do not give up a steady income without having some way that you have clients, or some way of establishing that. I have seen some freelancers who were doing SEO work, search engine optimization, digital marketers. When they have quit their jobs and started as freelancers, they've had a hard time. They have had to, their income has gone down. They've had to invest a lot to get clients, market themselves, and it's been bad. And this is not just true of digital marketers, it happens to content writers also. It can be very difficult to get clients. And then once you're spending months at home, you lose your value looking for projects, not getting projects, and then you want to get back into the industry, then it becomes all the more difficult because you stayed at home for so long. You lose your credibility. People don't trust if you will continue to work. Second thing is, they will not be ready to pay you the salary that you deserve for the experience that you have, because they are going to look at this, the number of months you have not been working. So be very careful and decide after weighing all the pros and cons whether you want to jump into freelance writing or not. And then I would also like to talk about, there are so many people who offer courses, and there are so many paid courses that talk about content writing, and how it's marketed that content is high in demand, and the minute you learn it, you can become experts and start a career in content writing. Well, it's not that easy. These courses that are marketed are to help those people who are marketing it earn an income, but content writing is not as simple as it looks. You think Many people think that if their English is good, with a little bit of course on content writing, they will be able to excel. But content writing, I feel, is best learned in the industry. You work for a company, you work with digital marketers, and that is when you understand how to create content that sells. Okay, anybody can write content. You can write a blog. It's not that difficult. If you have command over the language, writing a blog is not that difficult. But it's not just enough to write the blog. Your purpose of writing the blog is that the website for which you're writing should rank high on Google. And that is a challenge. So that's where good writing comes into play. And that can be developed by working for with digital marketers, because as you're working, you get rejections from clients, and that's when you realize where you're going wrong. Many people give up because they are put off by rejections. They lose faith in themselves, or they do not want to face rejection. So they think they many people give up at that stage. But I think it's important for me to put this point across, that it is through rejections that you learn and you grow. If you look at what the client is saying, you will understand how you can improve your content. And this will help you in the long run, because as you keep learning from your mistakes, you grow and evolve as a writer. Your writing improves. You become a much better writer. And this I can say from experience, because when I was working in the company, most of the time I did not get rejections. But one particular case I remember, the client was not at all satisfied with whatever work my entire team had done. It was a lot of work, and we had to, write content about the website, the services they provide, and what. And then my writers also were not used to, my team was not used to getting rejections, because we were doing a good job and everything was generally approved. So this was a major rejection. Whatever they wrote, whatever I wrote, he was not happy. And then he asked for revision. When I told them, a few of them did not want to do it, and they said, "Ma'am, you give us some other project. We don't want to work for this project." Then I took it as a challenge. I interacted with the client. Those meetings were so enriching for me. I have gained so much. They changed my entire perspective. That is when I realized how different it is when you talk about the services, when you talk about the services on a website, when compared to writing a blog or a website content. It is totally different, the approach, what you're trying to convey, because when somebody comes to your website looking for services, they want to know what you can do for them. And that should be the approach. Like this, I'm getting into a little bit of details, but that's what I had learned, and that helped me in all my future work. So whenever I had to write website content for any website which is trying to sell a product or a service, my approach itself changed. And then, that track record of not getting rejections continued. But once in a way, I get feedback from my clients, and they tell me what I have to do. And I always take it positively. And that is something that I would like to suggest to all the young writers, all the upcoming writers, that when you are working, when you are writing content, do not be discouraged by rejections. Have faith in yourself, first of all. And second thing, look at rejections as a feedback that will help you grow, that will help you improve. That is the only way you can develop as a great writer. So this is what I have learned, and this is what I have done. And the next thing that I would like to talk about for a content writer is payments. So, when you are working as a freelancer, you are working for money, you want your payments. And sometimes you get cheated, people make you work and they don't pay you for your work. So this is another thing that is very common, which happens with freelancers. So that was my very first experience. When I had to work for a client, it was through somebody that I got this client, and I had to. It was for a financial firm, and I'm not an expert at financial terms, understanding balance sheets, profit and loss statements. It's not my background. So, but the client wanted me to, initially, the work that was given to me was, just to prepare a presentation in English. Basically, what they wanted to show their clients. Now, then what happened was that once I prepared the presentation, they wanted me to analyze the balance sheet and profit and loss statement and prepare charts and everything. So this was something that I had no background of, but I thought, I took it on myself. I did not have too much work at that stage, so I I completely invested myself in it. I studied for hours together. I would try to understand, figure out how it works, and I prepared the charts. Once I sent it, the client stopped responding. I would try to call, I sent messages, I sent emails, but no response. They just cut off. They did not pick up my phones, they did not respond to my. And this was a lot of work. And I mean, I should have got quite a bit of money for this, but I was not paid. And this came as a shock, and it was one of the very first projects that I had taken, and it was discouraging. And at that stage I thought, okay, when I'm working, at least I have a steady income coming in. This can happen with anyone. And this was not the only time. It happened again. Like, there was some people ask you to write sample work, they don't pay you for it, and they use that work, and there's nothing you can do about it. You have to be cautious, but there's no way of being completely safe from this kind of cheating. So this is one thing that I wanted to make freelance writers aware of, that be careful when you are writing. And I would still say, writing a short article of 250 words or 500 words is still worth the risk. I mean, you can take a chance, but if it's a large if it's a heavy volume of work, and there is some money decided how much you will be paid for it. One suggestion is, for such projects, you ask for a certain percentage as an advance. So what happens is at least you have that amount, and once the client pays you the advance, there is some kind of reliability that yes, they are interested in getting the work done, so they will pay you. It's just one way of keeping yourself safe, but that also need not work. I mean, clients can pay say 10%, 20% advance, and then even after that they can back out. So this is one thing you have to be careful of, and it happens. It's not something that's only happened to me. You have to be wary, and you will learn with experience as you continue as a freelancer. Now, one more thing that often happens to writers is that your friends and family and everybody, they know you're good at writing, so they make you write. And it's supposed to be charity, but it can take up a lot of your time, and it sometimes becomes very difficult to say no. But you have to decide what you want to do, what you don't want to do, and where you do not want to do it free, it's better to put your foot down, because this way writers get taken for a ride. They are made to work, and no, that's not worth it at all. And let me tell you one of my experiences in one of the previous companies where my husband was working. His ex CEO, now he's not there in that company anymore, he wanted me to write an article for the company, and that article took a lot of time. And I was under the impression that I will be paid for the work, and it really took a lot of time to understand and then write it, and it was a fairly long article. And then I was not paid, and it was very awkward for me in that position to ask for a payment, because I mean, he's my husband's boss, so it can be very I mean, if he's I guess he assumed that, because I'm his subordinate's wife, it's kind of I mean, it's like, a family member working for you, so why do you need to pay? So, that kind of thing, probably that's what was working on his mind, and he did not take it seriously. But I felt let down because I had invested a lot of my time and worked really hard, and they all liked, I mean, the entire team that went through the article, they really liked it, but I was not paid. So, there, I think you have to draw a line, you have to make it clear at the initial stage itself that you will work only if you're paid for it. If it's such a situation when, somebody who's at a senior position asks you to do, you can always back out saying that you don't have time, because if they are not ready to pay, it's better that you don't do that job. I mean, of course, it's your discretion, but I believe that when you are investing yourself, your time is precious. You cannot, just waste your time on such, I mean, people taking advantage of you. Why should you? So, this is another thing. You have to be very clear about the payment terms, make it very clear initially, and if they're not willing, they're not willing. That's fine, that's absolutely fine. It's better than, getting taken for a ride. Now, so these things you have to be aware, you have to be clear, and then only make sure that you're strong enough to, take a stand. It was not easy for me also initially. I would be very wavery. I didn't know. I was not confident enough to put myself across and, have my way and tell them that, no, I will not do it if I'm not paid, and put my terms clearly. But today, when I have 6 years of experience behind me, and my work speaks, I mean, clients are happy with my work, I am in a position of authority, and I have my way, I demand what I want, and it's working for me. But it has come through a lot of hard work. It has come through failures, it has come through rejections, it has come through, getting taken for a ride, being asked to work, and not being paid for it. So these are some things that as a writer, if you are planning to start off as a freelance writer, you should be aware of, and then take the step if you're planning to quit your job, a steady job, and go into writing. So this is what I wanted to share with budding content writers who are writers who want to go into the field of freelance writing, that be wary, be careful, and all the best to become great content writers. Thank you so much. Thank you for watching the video till the very end. I hope you like this video. Do like, share, and subscribe to my YouTube channel, Food for Thought with Kanika Saxena. Also, like my Facebook page, follow me on Instagram, and yes, read my self help books. Links are mentioned in the description below. Bye bye. Until next time. Thank you.